Hey again. Okay, so today we're going to actually dig into the actual site a little bit and see what kind of stuff we can really get into and change around that you would typically do on a day-to-day basis while you are doing your Showit site. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we will just get right to it. Okay, so here we go. So we are back on your website, and let's go over this section really quick. So if you just click on one of these pages, you will go over to this side and you'll see page info, page background, animation, SEO settings, and advanced settings. Really quickly, if you actually go into, so watch this, keep your eyes over here. If you go over here and you click on this canvas, okay, are you watching? These things change. So now you have canvas, canvas background, animation, view transitions, and scroll actions. So when you click on the page, you are taken to the page info. Once you actually click into the page, you are taken to the canvas info. So right now we want to focus on the page info. So we're going to start here, and you can either double click on this to change the page name, or you can go into here and do the about. I typically just double click, but you can change it here. What you'll see is if you do this, you can change the name, and as you do that, the URL slug, the page slug, will also change. So make sure that if you're going to change these names, make sure you do so consciously, because if you do that, you may find that you're losing Google search engine queries, because what happens is that Google really likes it when you have the same name for a long time. Once you change that, it becomes something that they don't recognize, which means that they might rank it lower because they see it as new content, even though you've had it around for a long time. So changing the slugs is something you probably just shouldn't really do much of. Once you have them up, it's best to try to keep them about the same if you can. But anyway, that is how you can change that name, and there is no way to change the slug without, or change the page name without changing the slug name. So just something to think about. Page background. So this is one that you will actually probably use. You probably won't use page info much. Page background is the background of the canvas. So you might see in this one, we have a couple different canvases. We have, we'll say this one, which this canvas background is right here. And it is, so you'll see that it's our number 8. Here's all of our colors. Here's our number 8. It is 100%, and that is just this canvas's background. This canvas is our number 4, again at 100%, just color. When you get down to this one, actually, never mind, this is also just color. So it's a different color one. What you can do is you can actually make the background of the canvas, you can make it an image. And so what happens is it will show up. You can choose one of the images from your media gallery. And, and we already have one chosen. So you can choose an image there. You can, have it be filled. You can have it be contained so that it's smaller. You can have different positions. And you can't, this isn't actually the background. This is just an image on top of it. So, but if you play with this stuff will all change. This is actually the positioning of it. So, maybe it's not quite centered the way that you want it to. Maybe you want the bottom of the photo to show more rather than the top of the photo, so you can change it that way. Anyway, and then you can also have it be parallax or fixed, which I guess I will just show you guys. If you do this and we get rid of it there, so now I believe this is actually the background. So let's see, we can do top center. No, it's not going to change. Oh, it's because this is still a background image. Okay, there we go. This was actually just an overlay. Okay, so here is the background image. So if we want to go to the canvas, and so we can have it in the bottom, we can have it in the middle, we can have it in the top. So that will change the position of the photo. And then we can also have it be parallax scroll. So here, I'll show you what this looks like. Oops. Okay. As soon as it's, okay. So here is the preview. So this is what parallax looks like. Almost. Here we go. All right, see how the photo actually stays while everything kind of scrolls over the top of it. So it's a really pretty effect, very popular right now. That is parallax. Fixed is roughly the same but slightly different. So you see that the way that it was that the photo moved just slightly with the background, but just slightly. It just moved at a different rate. This one, fixed background, it's stuck there. So it doesn't move at all. Versus parallax, which moves a little bit. So anyway, just something cool. Otherwise, you can have a scroll with page, which is kind of just the typical scroll. And I'll show you that in just a second too. And that just looks like this. So it just scrolls with the entire canvas. So kind of cool. You can do all three of those things. That is just here in the canvas background. What Showit also does, so I'm going to change this back to the color and then redo these because we actually have this changing. So what Showit also allows you to do is it allows you to have an entire page background. So page background now. And so it's just different color. You can have an entire color for it. No images, but just another thing that you can do. Page, we're back to the page, not the canvas views. So animation, honestly, I never really use this stuff. So you probably won't either. This would be like if you want the whole page or canvas to slide in or, do something kind of funky, which is can be kind of a little over the top. I don't typically suggest doing that, but just something you can play around with. Here is the SEO settings, and this is where you do want to play around. So your SEO title, this is what I believe will show up in Google, I think. Kelly knows more about this than I do, but anyway. So your SEO title, you want this to have, some good keywords in there, Austin, Texas, wedding photographer, etc. Your SEO description, this is what will show up in Google, and it's actually limited to a certain amount of characters. I didn't worry about limiting it. It'll cut it off with an ellipses if needed, but just something to note. So SEO description should be an actual description. It should be a real paragraph, whereas SEO keywords can actually be key phrases, so high-end wedding photographers in Austin, lifestyle family photographer in Austin, luxury wedding photographer in Austin. Anyway. And then on your share image, and I believe that this is actually where what will show up on your Facebook page when you share this particular page. So you can change this as well to whatever you want, if you want it to be your logo or whatever else. And then advanced settings, again, I don't really use, well, no, I changed my mind. We do use this. This would be custom head. So if you have something that you, maybe you have, let's see, Yoast you typically will put into your WordPress backend. So you won't really need that there. Google Analytics has its own ID up in the site settings, so you don't really need that there. Oh, I know. Okay, so have a custom head. If you have a pop-up where your opt-in pops up in the beginning of your website, that's where you would put that probably. I don't suggest. Google is now punishing websites that use pop-ups, so I don't suggest doing that, but you can get around it by kind of doing that somewhere else. I won't get too into that right now, but anyway, this is for just like custom head HTML, custom CSS. If you know any of that stuff, you can drop that there. And then lastly, you can ask Google to ignore this page. This would probably be like if you have a secret page. Yeah, you don't need people seeing it, so you can do that. Okay, so that is pretty much what this all looks like from this page view. If you actually go into a page and you click here, then again, this will change. So we use most of these. Your canvas, again, you can name your canvas slug or your canvas title. If we go into here, you can see that this one's the introduction, it's the same thing. What's cool about Showit is you can actually link, if I wanted to, I could have my header link to a particular canvas so that if I click, say, products, it can jump me all the way down to here if I wanted to. So that's kind of cool, and I can show you how to do that probably in another video. Otherwise, though, your canvas, the thing that you'll most likely use is just the canvas height. So right now this height is 500. I'll show you what it looks like if it's 200. So there you go. It's chopped off. It's a lot shorter. I'll show you what it looks like if it's 800. It's really long. So this just gives you the option to, you know, add in as much stuff as you like or make the canvas as short as you want. The more canvases you have, the better your website will load because the canvases load kind of as people scroll. So it's typically, you know, it's nice to have the canvases be right about that size or so. You can also have it sticky to the top. So what this could look like is we can say, okay, so here, I'll show you right now. So this is what the website looks like right now. And you'll see that the header does not, it just scrolls. It doesn't follow us as we go. We can change that. If we want to, we can have it sticky at the top. And this is what that would look like. So as you scroll, and you'll want to offset it, as you scroll, this will scroll along with it. And right now, the background of this is actually transparent. That's why it's overlapping everything. But if you want that to be the case, what I would suggest doing is making this part of the canvas actually not transparent. And then what you would do is you would offset it. So this canvas is, I don't know, probably like 200 pixels or so. So you would offset it by 200 pixels. And then this should do it better. Okay, yeah. Oops, nope, that's wrong. Anyway, what it would be is top on scroll. That's what it is, sorry. Hold up, sorry, here we go. So what top on scroll means is top on scroll is that while it is, you know, while you're at the top of the page, it is there. But as you scroll, it follows you. So this is what top on scroll looks like. Okay, so it is up there. It is its own canvas. It is not overlapping this one. And then as you scroll, it follows along with you. So anyway, something you can do, there's bottom on scroll and sticky to the bottom. That would be like your footer. If you want your footer to scroll with the page, then that's something you can do. Right now we're going to choose none because we don't want it to scroll with us. We just want it to stay up there. So back to this stuff. So this is, you know, you can do that with each of your canvases if you want to. You could have it so that, you know, this one stays here. You could have it sticky to the top and have a stacking order 0. And then you could have this one sticky to the top on scroll, and that one stacks at 1. So it would actually stack on top of this. I could show you guys what this looks like actually here. Oops. So we'll go sticky to the top. And then this one will be sticky to the top 2. And we'll be stacking order of 1. And then this one will be sticky or stacked to the top 2, and this one is sticky to the top. So let's see what this looks like. This is me kind of dorking around, but options, just general, get to know these back end options a little bit. Oops, nope, those ones should have been sticky to the top scroll. Sorry, guys. Okay, and then this one is top on scroll. What you probably want to do too is you want to make sure that all these canvases are actually the same size or bigger, because what you'll see, oh dang it, and then that thing lost. Anyway, see, okay, so this is what I was going for, is that you can have it so that your thing scrolls up so that each canvas just scrolls on top of the next one. It's like then this one could go sticky to the top on scroll 2. And this one could go sticky to the top and scroll too. Anyway, just playing around. But just something that to make your website a little different. If you have more of a bold website, if it's more traditional, this one, you know, doesn't lend itself to this at all. I would not suggest doing something like this with this particular type of canvas. But oh, and I forgot to do the layers. Anyway, but if you're, you know, if your website is very, very kind of pizzazz and bold and I don't know, you know, modern, really modern and impactful, highly active, then that might be something fun to look into. But otherwise, For a more traditional website, you don't really want to use that. But it is good for headers. So if you want a header that follows you to the bottom, what you would do is you click on it, you go sticky to the top on scroll, and then if you have something on top of that, like an announcement bar or something that you change every so often, you would be able to offset it so that it's actually slightly below, you know, when it normally starts right here, you would actually have it start like right here. Anyway. Okay, so we're gonna say none for all of that though. So that is the canvas. You have the name, you have the stacking order. If you want to make sure that your header stacks on top of everything every time, make sure that the header is stacked at a higher number. So like this should be, you know, 1 or 2 or 3, so that it makes sure to stack on top of everything. Again, this is most important if you're having things scroll at different, you know, times. But like for instance, this one, because this one I had to kind of jerry rig it a little bit. Occasionally I'll have the canvas right below it be a stacking order 1 so that it's so that it layers appropriately. Anyway, just something to think about if you need that. Most likely you probably won't need it, but it's there if you need it. Canvas type is normal. Another one most popular in blogs is grow with content, and this is we can talk about that later in the blog post one, but just something to think about. Typically you'll have normal or even maybe window height. Window height would be like if you have a giant image that you want to have, like you want to have it take up the entire screen of somebody's screen when they first like maybe land on your website, you would do window height. And the benefit of that is that it grows and it shrinks with however big the person's computer is. So whether they're on a 13-inch Mac or they're on a 27-inch, you know, iMac or whatever they call those now, it'll grow. It'll fit their screen instead of having the next canvas kind of poke out from below. Okay, and then we talked about sticky, we talked about initial height, and then hidden to start. This is another one that you could use for galleries, or specifically, we use this for the mobile menu. So the mobile menu is hidden to start. And the reason for that is that we want people to scroll through this mobile site and to end at the footer. So right now you see it and you end at this footer down here, okay? But in the back end, you'll see that there is actually this mobile navigation. But we don't see that when we're actually scrolling on the page, and that is because it is hidden to start. And the way to, or the reason for that is, so if you don't want somebody to see it right off the bat, and it's also just a way to link other buttons and stuff. So for instance, this button, when we go to it, if we edit the header, we click on this button, it will show Site Canvas and it'll show the mobile navigation. So I'll show you how that looks. We will click this and suddenly here is the mobile navigation. And the way that we do that is we go back to the mobile navigation and we say that this needs to be, again, sticky to the top. So it is always stuck to the top. Even though you can't see it in the mobile when you're scrolling through the mobile page that you want, it is always stuck to the top. It's just hidden. So, so yeah, we want it sticky to the top. We don't need to offset it because we just want to take it the whole screen. And otherwise, it's just kind of a normal content. It's also stacking order is 2. It needs to be top. It needs to be the stacking order needs to be higher than anything else because again, it's stuck to the top of the screen. But it could be stuck below a different canvas, in which case, even if you click on the button and show it, does that kind of make sense? So we have sticky to the top, which means that it's stuck to the top of the screen. And then we have the stacking order, which means that it's stacked, like if you have a deck of cards, it's stacked higher on the deck of cards than the other canvases. So there are 2 different things. Top is like top of the, like literally top of the computer, and then stacking order is like a deck of cards on a table. When you click on that link, what it does is it shows the site canvas. So basically it just kind of, yeah, shows it. So this thing is always stacked on the top of the deck, top of the screen, but it's hidden. So when you click on that button shows this thing, which is basically stacked on top of everything else. Anyway, when you click on this X, you'll see the click actions actually hide this canvas. So it just goes back into hiding. You can also do these click options anyway through this stuff, and we'll get into more of that later. So, okay, so back to this page that we were at. So we were at canvas background. No, sorry, we were at canvas. Okay, so hidden to start. That is all of this canvas stuff. It's a lot of stuff to take in, but mostly you will use the normal and you'll use this initial height. That's pretty much all you'll do. You may use a stacking order, probably not too big of an issue, and you likely won't use sticky or hidden to start unless you're talking about footers and headers. Canvas background, we already talked about this, different colors. And you'll notice that on some of these things, there is the mobile option and also the desktop option. So you could have the desktop color be a different color than the mobile one. Animation, again, we rarely use this. This would be for if you want the canvas to kind of do a loop-de-loop in or spin in or slide in, something like that. You just really won't use it very often. So yeah, we hardly do. Transitions, this, yes, so this one, let's talk about these testimonials that we have down at the bottom. So for this testimonial, we have multiple different views. We have view 1, view 2, and view 3. And you'll see that the canvas image is different in each one of them, and the, the text is different in each one of them. And what I could do if I wanted to, I could have this be an auto advance, where it's just kind of, it's one of those things, it's an auto advance. It starts off on this view and then moves to the next view automatically after so many seconds, whatever I want it to do, and then the next one goes after this. I don't really want that. Instead, I've opted to have an arrow where people can actually click through to the next view if they want to. So this is, it clicks to this canvas. You can also have it do a page or top of the page, any of that stuff. Clicks to this canvas. It is this canvas again, and it is the next button, the next view. See, the next view. So views are really cool for doing something like this, doing testimonials, or if you want like some sort of really cool gallery thing. We also do it for the footer in the desktop. So you'll see we have in this footer, we have on the blog, and we have a picture, and then we have this, the title of the blog post. And we have multiple different views. So with this one, I actually do have an auto advance. So what that looks like, I'll actually show you the difference between those two things that we were looking at. So here is her experience page. You go down, and here are her testimonials. So we can click through. That is view 2. That is view 3. That is view 1, and it clicks in a loop, so you can do the same thing forever and ever. This is the, what's going on here? Uh-oh, I messed up. I'll have to fix that. This is the auto advance view. So see, it's just moving on its own. I don't have a button to advance it. It's just doing its own thing. So that's the difference between auto advance and actually having a link that clicks. I know it's because this canvas is wrong color. Okay, it's because it's transparent. Anyway, okay, so let's go back to this. Okay, and then, so those are the canvas views, or the transactions, and then transitions, sorry, and then scroll actions. I literally do not ever use scroll actions. You can. This is a great way to do that opt-in. Again, Google punishes you for having a pop-up right at the beginning of your website. However, if you have a pop-up that pops up all the way at the bottom, like say this one, maybe you have an add action, you can trigger an on-screen pop-up basically. So I never, ever, ever use this, but I know that some designers do. It's something that you can look into elsewhere. So that is all of these things. We did canvas, we did canvas background, we did animation, we did transitions, and we did scroll actions. Again, if you go back to just these regular ones, you have page info, page background, animation, SEO settings, and advanced settings. Totally different things. Oh, look, we even have something in here. What is this? Oh, this is this must be for Google Analytics. Kelly must put that in there. So yes, I guess you do want to put Google Analytics in there somewhere still. Okay, so that I'm gonna quit this video because that is probably plenty long, and we will continue from there.